So, I'd like to thank you all for joining this evening to learn how you can save money with our December exclusive EV discounts. My name is Annika Osborne. I'm with Cool the Earth. We are a nonprofit environmental organization with a mission to reduce carbon emissions and local pollution. While we are big fans of walking, biking, public transit, carpooling, especially if you're carpooling in an EV or on an e-bike. With our Ride and Drive Clean initiative, we work to advance a rapid and equitable transition to electric transportation. I'd like to thank the City of Palo Alto Utilities for sponsoring this webinar and our December exclusive EV discounts. Here's the agenda for the webinar. We're going to do an overview of our EV discount campaign. Then we'll get into the specific EVs and trims and the pricing. Then we'll talk a little bit more about discounts and savings, um, and show you how to sign up for the exclusive EV discounts. Then we'll do a brief Q&A. This will be with our partner, Cartelligent. Jessica is on this call, and she will answer any specific questions that you have about leasing versus pricing, or what the trim levels are like, or differences about the cars. Um, and then for those of you who are interested in other uh, incentives, we will do an overview of other incentives. There are some for used EVs, and some that are not really related to this discount campaign. But we will go over all of those different incentives with you. And then we'll talk about next steps with Ride and Drive Clean. And then we'll have another Q&A at the end with any general questions you have at all about EVs. We do have, typically we have a couple of webinars going on each month. We have another one coming up at noon on December 18th. It will be more of an EV 101 that's more thoroughly covering all aspects of switching to an EV. And we will also answer questions and talk about the discount campaign during that time. But this is really our deep dive into the EV, these particular exclusive EV discounts that we are offering right now. So, launched in 2019, Ride and Drive Clean is a collaboration of nonprofits, agencies, utilities, and CCAs, cities, counties, schools, and businesses all working together to reduce carbon emissions by advancing electric vehicles. We're here to help you make your next car an EV. So early on, we realized that one of the biggest barriers to going electric is that upfront cost of buying or leasing an EV. And, since we started, pricing has really come down quite significantly for EVs due to the battery prices coming down. But there is still that upfront cost of buying or leasing an EV, and that's why we partnered with Cartelligent, a highly regarded car concierge service, to offer exclusive EV discounts. At certain times of the year, they're able to negotiate special pricing on select models, and that's when we run these programs. Over the past 6 years, we've helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars on EVs through these programs. I'm especially excited about the EVs featured this month: the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Kia EV6, the three-row Kia EV9, the Toyota BZ, and my personal favorite, the Volkswagen ID Buzz. These EVs aren't just a great value, they're also a lot of fun to drive. Before I introduce Jessica from Cartelligent, I want to touch base a little bit on the current market situation. So we really believe that now is a great time to consider an EV because of the deals that are available through through our program here. The federal clean vehicle credit ended in September, which has increased upfront costs for new and used EVs, and future pricing remains a little uncertain right now due to tariffs and supply chain changes. That's why we're offering December EV discounts. exclusive limited time savings on select EVs to help make electric driving more accessible. So at this point, I'm going to introduce Jessica Carson from Cartelligent. Take it away, Jessica.
Hey, everybody, thanks so much for joining. Um, as Annika said, we've been working together since 2019, and we've helped a lot of people get into an EV. Ride and Drive Clean came to us originally because they wanted someone who would really help make sure that people wound up in an EV. What was happening is they were referring people to dealers. People went to the dealer and they didn't have a good experience. They wound up in a gas car. The EVs weren't on the lot. Um, and so we wanted to make sure that, we really were helping people get into EVs. So Cartelligent has been around for 25 years. We started in 2000. Obviously, we started before EVs, so we help with everything. But we do a lot of EVs and PHEVs over the past few years, especially with our partner with Ride and Drive Clean. It's increased from, none of our business in 2000, obviously, to over 30% of our business in the last few years. And in August and September, as you might imagine, it was probably closer to 50%. So we are experts on EVs and PHEVs. I love this slide because this shows somebody trading in their Tesla for a BMW iX. And if you think about, a few years ago, there were so few choices on the market. And now there are so many amazing EVs that you can choose from. There's new ones coming out every day. I got an email this morning about there's two new Subaru EVs coming out, and they look really awesome. I'm a huge Subaru fan myself. And so I'm excited to see those cars. And I'm excited to see manufacturers continuing to develop new EVs, even with the federal tax credit going away. Um, it's still, as Annika said, a great time to get an EV. We're seeing a number of manufacturers who are continuing to make EVs more cost effective. And so that's exciting. And we've got five really cool cars that we're able to offer this month. One other thing about Cartelligent is we do, as you can tell from this slide, we do help people trade in or return their current car. So we can help you get into a new EV or PHEV, and we can help you get out of whatever car you have right now. So these are the five cars we're offering this month. Cartelligent is a for-profit business. We normally charge a service fee of $595. As part of our partnership with Ride and Drive Clean, we do waive the service fee on the exclusive discounts that we offer. However, if you want something that's not on this list, no worries. We can still help you get into any EV or PHEV, and we will give you a $400 discount, so $495 for coming from Ride and Drive Clean, as long as you're getting an EV or a PHEV. So don't worry if the car you want isn't on this list. We can still help you. We can get you a fantastic deal. These are the five cars that we've picked for a couple of reasons. We picked them because there's enough inventory that we can meet demand. We feel that these are popular cars that people want to get into, and we're able to negotiate a significant discount. Plus, there's good manufacturer support for these cars. So we feel that these are great deals. These are the best deals that we're seeing in the market right now. It says available through 12/31/2025. What that means is we need to get you contracted by 12/31. You don't actually have to take possession of the car. As long as we have a paper contract dated 12/31 or an e-contract that's signed before 12/31, you're all good. So let me know if anybody has any questions about that. You want to go through the cars? Hyundai
Sure.
Ioniq 5. This is our number one bestseller across all cars. EVs, PHEVs, gas cars. This is what we're selling the most of, and it's not even close. It's like twice as much as the car behind it. And this is we deal with all makes and models. This is our best seller. What's really cool about the 2025 is that it is available on the Tesla EV Supercharger network. My husband actually has this exact car. He just got it a couple months ago. Um, and so if we're on a road trip, we can charge at any Tesla supercharger station, which is more available and abundant than some of the other ones. So really cool, great range, um, great price. And again, really great car. And Annika always likes to tell you that you can power your house or power your refrigerator in the event of a blackout with this car because it's got the bidirectional charging.
Or if you like to go camping, you can
Or
go
if you like
camp
to go camping.
with zero emissions. You don't need that Coleman cooktop anymore. You can just power up with an induction cooktop and an electric kettle and a portable cooler. And that's kind of a cool way to respect the nature around us when we are camping. All right, ready for the next one?
Can I butt in really quickly with a
Sure.
question? Hi, this is Stephen. There's a little asterisk there that says trim dependent. Does that generally mean they're looking for high dollar trims or low dollar trims or whatever's in stock?
Um, it's really manufacturer specific, and I think it's mostly based on in stock. But there's a range of that 5750 lease rebate, and it's based on trim. So we're saying up to 5750, but we're not trying to hide anything. It's just that there's a
Yeah,
bunch of different trims, and the discount, the lease rebate, which is offered by the manufacturer, is different depending on which trim you get.
gotcha. Okay, thanks.
And before we move on to the next slide, I just want to make sure everybody's clear on this. So, what we're offering with Cartelligent is this exclusive discount of $1,500 on this particular car, which can be stacked with the lease rebate or the finance rebate. So, if you decide to lease this car, you can get $7,250 off. And if
Up
you
to.
up to, yeah. And if you finance it, you can get $3,000 off. And I also want to just point this out that well, I don't actually know what it is at this point, but early in 2025, the average cost for a new car in general was $48,000. So the starting MSRP on this one is 35,000, and then we can get up to 7,250 off of that price, which makes it very, very compelling financially. All right, you ready for the next slide, Jessica?
Go for it. So this is the EV6. People always ask me, are they related? The Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6. And I tell people they're like cousins. So it's the same basic structure. If you think about the Toyota BZ and the Subaru Solterra, which are kind of sister cars, there's a bunch of those that are sister cars. They've got slightly different styling, but the basic underlying mechanics are the same. So this one has a higher starting MSRP. You're going to notice this one starts at 42,900. The other one started at 35, but it's got 18,400 in potential savings. So very similar car, but it's a very different styling. The Ioniq 5, I think, is more futuristic and edgy. I think this one's a little bit more sleek and curvy. Um, our exclusive discount on this one is 1,000 off MSRP. Plus, there's additional incentives. The lease or finance, that's again trim dependent. The cash and finance are both just a flat $10,000.
This one also has that bidirectional charging, so you can power up your refrigerator for a week if there's a power outage.
So this is the 2026 Kia EV9. This is a really cool car. Um, it's a three-row SUV. It's got a great range. It's got a slightly higher starting MSRP, but again, it's just a bigger car, more robust. And again, really great lease rebates, great cash and finance rebates, and an exclusive discount of 1,000 under MSRP. So this isn't our top seller because it's a little bit of a more unique car. It's also a newer car. We offered this for the first time ever as part of an EV discount campaign last month, and we were able to extend it into this month. But this is a car that's going to be extremely popular.
Okay. And also I wanted to say I think this was the car of the year in 2024 when it first came out. So pretty cool. I've seen it on the road. I know I have some friends who have this car who really enjoy it.
Toyota BZ. It used to be the BZ4X. They shortened the name to make it a little bit less weird. So it's a great car. I've got a colleague who has it, and he absolutely loves it. He brought it to the Palo Alto show on Sunday, if anybody was there. Um, Exclusive discount on this one is $1,000 off. And the cash and finance rebates actually got better this month. They were, I think, 5,000 and 6,000 last month, and it's up to 7,500. Also, is 0% APR and very low lease rates on this car. And again, you get all of the value of driving a Toyota. So if you're looking for that, reliability and stability of driving a Toyota, this is a great car, low starting MSRP. So very good value. Highly recommend this.
Yeah, I have a friend who was driving a Tesla Model 3 and wanted to get out of that, and he switched to the Toyota a couple months ago, and he loves it.
And finally, we have probably what is the most visible EV. My boss has one of these, and I swear to God, you go anywhere with him, people stop you to ask about it. It's kind of hilarious. No one has ever stopped to ask me about my car as much as his car. Um, if anybody is in Marin, we're going to be in Strawberry on Saturday from 12 to 4, and we will have one here if you want to come check it out. It's going to be at the Strawberry Village. Um, so we've never had the ID Buzz on an EV discount campaign before. If you look at that exclusive discount, that's $7,500 off MSRP. That's the Cartelligent discount. And that's plus these lease cash and finance rebates of 7,500 each. Um, so up to 15,000, no matter how you pay for the thing. And it's a really fun car. Like people just smile and honk at you when you're in this thing. It's a pretty big deal. My husband was saying, like, we've got dogs. We should get one and we should let the dogs run rampant in the back. It would be so much fun to take on road trips. But unfortunately, both of us just leased cars within the last 6 months. So we're not in the market for something new right now. Um,
Yeah, I've been eyeing this one for a while. I have this like dream of like going
I,
up and
I've been I've
down.
been bullying Annika that she needs to get this one. I tried to bully her into taking the one on Sunday back to the dealership so that she could test drive.
I know, it's my dream car. Yeah,
You
when the
should come.
timing
You
is
should
right.
come on Saturday.
I know, maybe I should. Maybe I
You can
will.
adopt a puppy at the same time.
Really? Well, send me a link to the event.
I will send you a link to the event. You can share it with these people in case anybody wants to come.
Okay. So, we I wanted to kind of review like how does this whole discount campaign work? So you sign up for the discount campaign, and then a Cartelligent advisor will contact you within 24 hours to review the different models and pricing. This is a fine if it's a good time, even if you're like, I'm not sure. I'm going debating between the Hyundai Ioniq, the Toyota, and the Kia EV6. I'm not really sure. And they can even give you pricing on all of these. And for lease, for if you want to purchase or finance, and then you can kind of compare and contrast. Um, then you'll confirm. You might run out and do some test driving, which you would do at your local dealership, just to make sure you're very comfortable with the car that you're ordering. And then you'll confirm your preferred trim, color, and pricing. Cartelligent will find great EV options that you will be able to choose from. So that's when you'll see the different pricing on the different trims and colors. So you pick your EV, have it delivered to one of Cartelligent's locations, Irvine, Menlo Park, Sausalito, or Walnut Creek, and then you sign your contract. And that's what Jessica said. It's important for this discount, for this EV, for these EV discounts that we're offering right now, that you have that your contract signed. You don't have to pick it up until after, till the new year, but by the 31st, you'll want to have that contract signed. You pick up your EV and get a personal tutorial so you know how to actually charge your EV and how to start it. Because these cars are pretty high tech, so it's great to have a good understanding before you head off the lot. And that's basically how it works. I will say we offer a webinar. It's kind of an EV 102, which is like, what to expect as a new EV driver. So it's a good time to attend one of those webinars. Just we'll go into like different rate plans at home and, how to do a road trip and all that good stuff and different charging options for at home. We'll have one of those webinars coming up in January. I wanted to just go over this slide real quickly before we move into our Q&A. So a lot of people ask us, is it better for us to lease or buy? First of all, I want to see a lot of people lease EVs. It's newer technology, so people are waiting to get, newer features or a longer range or, the latest tech. So it's very common that people lease, and often the lease deals are between 2 and 3 years, is what I've experienced. So, and it seems like for most of the EVs out there are really great lease deals happening right now compared to the deals that you get if you purchase or finance. So if you can take advantage of one of those great lease deals and it makes sense for you, then, that's a great reason why. So with leasing, there are lower monthly payments. And it's possible for you to upgrade to newer models every few years. Some people are really into leasing just so that they can, have that latest save money with the great lease deals, and then also, upgrade in a couple of years. There is an option to buy the EV at any point during the lease. So this is something that a lot of people do too, because the lease deals are so great right now. Um, they might want to actually own the car, but they lease it and then just pay off the lease. And that you would be able to find out, gosh, I've forgotten what it's called. There's that amount that you would have to pay to,
It's called a payoff amount. So if you're in a lease, anytime after, I believe, the first 6 months,
okay.
you can do it at any time, but anytime after the first 6 months, they're not going to penalize you for the rebates that they gave you. Um, you can call and you can say, "Hey, I want to buy my car," and they'll send you something called a lease payoff letter, and you just sign the paperwork, return it with a cashier's check for the amount. It can be a cashier's check from you, or it can be a cashier's check from a financing institute, and you own the car. They'll send you the title within 10 days. So it's a very easy process. Um, Especially before the federal tax rebate went away, a number of clients chose to do that because the incentives were greater for leasing. If you work with Cartelligent, we can absolutely talk to you about what's it going to look like if you buy it outright versus what's it going to look like if you lease and buy it out. Both are very good options. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then you can return it at the lease end. There are no resale worries. The one thing you do want to just be aware of is the mileage limits. So sometimes leases are, 7,500 miles a year, 10,000, 12,000. I've seen up to 15,000. So you want to make sure that you don't drive over that. And then sometimes there are fees for excess wear. I think there are people, manufacturers are very upfront and they let you know this is what we allow, this big of a ding in the car, but not any bigger than this kind of situation. Buying an EV. So there's a higher upfront cost. But once the loan is paid off, which is sometimes 3 to 6 years, then there are no monthly payments and you own that car. You can drive unlimited miles. There may be long-term cost savings if you keep it for many, many years. But there is a resale value risk as the battery tech evolves. Okay, we already talked about how to get started. I know Jessica is going to have to leave shortly. So if anybody has any questions right now for Jessica, specifically about the EV discount, these EV discounts that we're offering right now, this is a great time.
Pleasure meeting everyone. Thank you so much for coming, and hope everyone chooses to drive electric either now or in the nearly foreseeable future.
Okay, thanks so much, Jessica. Great. So we're going to continue along here a bit. Although early EV drivers paid a high premium for electric cars, today's EV drivers often save money. And here are some reasons why. It costs much less to fuel an electric car. In fact, fueling a gas car can be 2 to 5 times more expensive than fueling an EV, depending upon where and when you charge it, because there are special time of use rates so that you can set your EV to charge during the off-peak times when electricity is much more affordable. Electricity prices also tend to be more stable than gas prices, as we've seen in the past few years. I will note, though, that electricity prices had gone up. I think there were 5 increases of electricity for, if you get your electricity from your bill from PG&E anyway. But I've seen recently the prices just started dipping down a little bit, which is great. So maintenance costs are 40% lower for EVs. It's basically adding windshield wiper fluid and rotating your tires. And then there are some additional say, incentives available, which can help bring that initial cost down. So we'll talk about those. So there are currently three types of incentives that can help you save money when you buy or lease certain EVs. There is the Ride and Drive Clean exclusive EV discounts that we just talked about for the month of December. We tend to do these about 3 times a year. So we're hoping to continue these in 2026. We don't know what the deals will and discounts will look like at that point, but we do have great discounts going on right now in December. So there are also California state grants available for residents with lower incomes. Clean Cars for All is a retire and replace program. You can get a grant up to $12,000 if you retire a 2007 or older gas car that's in working order, and you can get up to $12,000 depending upon where you live in the Bay Area. If you lived in a disadvantaged community, meaning that you are experiencing air quality that is not so great, you may be able to get $12,000. And in other parts of the Bay Area with better air quality, you may be able to get $10,000. This grant is offered through the Air District, so they care a lot about improving air quality in disadvantaged communities. There's also the Drive Clean Assistance Program for up to $7,500. It's actually $7,500 for everyone. And with this one, you don't have to retire a car. You just have to, your income, you just have to be income eligible and make sure you're in a zip code where they're offering this program. Um, for both of these state programs, you do have to apply for and receive these grants before purchasing an EV. So you need to have the grant in hand before you go to the dealership to get your EV. And sometimes it takes a while to get that grant. Processing times can take a while. So it's a good idea if you're income eligible to apply for these grants now. There are also some local incentives. So PG&E offers an EV rebate for pre-owned EVs. So for anyone who gets their bill from PG&E, you can get $1,000. And if based on your income, you may be able to get $4,000. This is a rebate that you apply for after you get your EV. And you may want to check with your local municipal utility or CCA, your clean energy alternative like PCE or San Jose Clean Energy, Silicon Valley Clean Energy, MCE, depending upon where you live, to see if they offer other discounts. Many do, and they're often tied to the income of the person applying. So a great way to find out which ones you qualify for is to check out this savings calculator. If you click on that link, you'll find out exactly which incentives you qualify for. Everyone qualifies for the Ride and Drive Clean exclusive EV discounts for the month of December. It's the holidays. They're available for everyone. I'm not going to go into too much detail on Clean Cars for All, but the slide will come your way tomorrow when I send the follow-up email, and we can look at this if people have questions toward the end. And then here's more information about the Drive Clean Assistance Program. A little more information about your PG&E pre-owned EV rebate. It's interesting, depending upon where you live, there are, for that rebate plus that's up to $4,000, it also depends upon where you live. So I couldn't put the household income amount in here. All right, so what are next steps? Cartelligent Advisor will reach out to you. This is a great time to test drive the EVs that you're considering. Really, you'll want to get in there, sit down, adjust the seat to make sure it's comfortable for you. Every car is a little bit different. Adjust the mirrors just to make sure you feel good about it. You'll want to make sure there are no blind spots for you, to make sure you just feel comfortable with the EV in general. And for more information, we're going to have another webinar December 18th at noon. So if you have time between now and then to go test drive some EVs, to talk to Cartelligent, we'll be here to answer more questions for you at that time. Yeah, so a little more about who we are and what we do. Again, I mentioned we help people buy EVs or get EVs and e-bikes as well. We offer exclusive EV discounts. This one's going through December. We're hoping to offer a couple of more next year. And because you're signed up with now, you'll receive our newsletter. You can always unsubscribe if you don't want it. But we're hoping, we believe that our newsletter is helpful. We will let you know when we have our other exclusive EV discount programs going on. We'll let you know about our EV shows. We'll have some more. We just had one this weekend in Palo Alto. We'll have a couple more, several next year in the spring and summer. And then we have ongoing EV webinars. It's an opportunity to make a climate promise to make your next car an EV. Our biggest ask really is please don't buy a new gas car. It will be on this earth for 12, 15 years, emitting, air pollution and carbon emissions. And we really need to stop doing that as quickly as possible. Yeah, the next thing to do is you can join us for another event. I'll put that link in the chat as well. And yeah, we want to thank you again for coming to this webinar. We want to thank the City of Palo Alto Utilities for sponsoring this webinar and this exclusive EV discount program that we're offering now. This is another time for Q&A. Yes, Bowden, that is a good question. You heard that the vehicle to load is not available on the lowest end trim. So if you're interested in that, that means that you can power up your refrigerator if there's a power outage for a week or so, and other electronics as well. You can power up. You can also use it when you go camping. So yeah, so make sure if that's a feature that you're interested in, that you get a trim level that does offer that. Yes, and we are offering the 2025 Ionic 5. I will be straight up with you on that one. With the Ionic 5 2025, it's great that we have that Tesla port, the native port, so you can go to any Tesla supercharging station to charge up. We think that's a game changer because there are so many Tesla supercharging stations in their network, and they are very reliable as well. So when you show up, they work. But I will say that the charging port on the 2025 Ionic is on the passenger side, not the driver's side. So it makes sometimes it might be a little bit challenging. You may have to take up two parking spots. But the nice thing about these Tesla supercharging stations is that there are often many ports available. I know when I drive down to LA, sometimes there are charging stations with 50 ports, 100 ports. There's one that just opened up in Lost Hills, I believe. I think that's just north, about an hour and a half north. I think it's actually just north of the Grapevine. So that's a great place to have charging, to charge up. I think they have 120 ports there. So that's just kind of handy to know. With the Kia EV6, they also have the native Tesla port, so you can use the Tesla charging stations, and it's on the driver's side, so it mirrors the Tesla experience. It's a little easier. You just have to use one spot. But both cars are really great. Oh, yes, I do have two EVs. I have a Tesla Model Y. I bought them both used, and actually, I can put, if you're interested in getting a used EV, we work with Emotion Autos. If you Google search them, you can get their link. I got both of my EVs used. So I have a 2021 Tesla Model Y. That's the one that we use on road trips. We got it about 3 years ago. I've taken it to Mammoth. I've survived a blizzard in Mammoth. I've survived a storm in Tahoe. In that car, it's been no problem at all. And we got that car because we do go to LA quite often, so it's a great car for road trips. This is, of course, before all of the cars are now available to charge at the Tesla supercharging stations. So the other car that I have, I bought in May. It's a Polestar 2. It's a 2022, and I really like the way it drives. So I live in Marin County. When I go to Stinson Beach, I prefer taking the Polestar because it has it feels very sporty and it just handles the turns really well. Um, what else? I like just the way it looks. I like that not half of the cars on the road are the same car that I am driving. So it's unique, I should say. And I will note that I do have that gray Tesla Model Y, which seems to be the most popular one. So sometimes when I'm in a parking lot, I really have to search for my particular Tesla. The Polestar is a little easier to spot. What I do like though, so I don't like to have guests in my Polestar in the back seats because there's not really great leg room there. Whereas with the Tesla, it's more of it's a bigger car, a bigger space. Also with, the Polestar is a sedan. So I used to have a Tesla Model 3. What I like about the Model Y is that I sit up a little higher in that car and it just feels a little more spacious. Whereas the Model 3, you're in a little bit. Also, it's for me a little easier to get in and out of the car, the Model Y, just because it's a little higher. Um, I do know that a lot of people, some people here already drive electric. I know Mark, for example, drives the Hyundai Ioniq. I think it's a 2025. And I believe, Mark, you got that car through Cartelligent. Is that correct?
Yeah, I sure did.
Can
And
you
that
share
turned
your
out
experience?
that turned out good because they have a Walnut Creek uh, location, which is like 2 or 3 miles from me. So they delivered it. The car was actually found in San Bruno, so they brought it up here. And I had to take it to the dealer here because the air conditioning wasn't working. So Cartelligent did all that for me. So they're your friend, not only helping you decide what you want and what the deal is, and I've got their like you said, their charge was courtesy of you. So it was all in all a good experience, and they're pretty good at all kinds of cars. They just don't do electrics. So, and I was talking this up to a neighbor that lives in my building here at Rossmore, so he thought that was such a great deal. He's got almost the identical car.
That's awesome. And do you want to tell us a little bit what you like about the Hyundai Ioniq 5?
Oh yeah, I always had my eyes on it. I'm an engineer, and it's got an 800-volt charging system, which means it's extra fast if you're at a 350 kilowatt, which is the bigger ones. It'll charge like in 18 minutes. Uh, so that attracted my attention, and it also has the bidirectional charging. There's three versions of that. This is the smallest one, which is called vehicle to load, and I can power up most of my house with that. I have some Yeti batteries here anyway, so I just bought a 100 foot 12.3 extension cord, and if I can get in one of the parking places near my front door, I can just run it right in, and I've done that a few times. And it's 84 kilowatt hours. It'll let you take it down to 20%. So I probably, depending on how I load it, but I got my refrigerator and my TV and my Wi-Fi router and all that stuff on it. And I'm also a ham operator, so that lets me charge my radios. So I'm pretty much self-sufficient on that. So, matter of fact, we're doing some stuff down at the Ham Radio Club here in the room, and we only have a couple of small batteries. And I said, well, I can just back my Ionic up and run this thing for a week. So I really like that.
That's awesome. I'm
Just
so glad
handle.
you're already using that. And I'm also that you're using the vehicle to load feature. And I'm also glad that it's winter and you don't need your AC so much.
That's right. Yeah, I have a gas furnace here in the house, and so that's enough as it is with my Yetis. By the way, the county just gave me a fourth Yeti, 1,000 watt.
Wow.
I had three 3 kilowatters, but the car is 84 kilowatts, so it's
Substantial.
substantial. So
That's great.
I'm enjoying that, and so I can fire up the furnace, but I can't do like the stove or the air conditioning. That would be vehicle to home, and the house would have to be better equipped for that. Things like
Yeah.
the F-150 Lightning do that. You have to
Would be
invest about 10 grand to do that. Ford will, the guys I know that have them are the Lightnings. I think a Cybertruck is vehicle to load.
It is as well. Yeah, the Cybertruck is vehicle. No, the Cybertruck is actually, I think they just did an upgrade on the Cybertruck and some of the new Teslas coming out so that they are vehicle to grid or vehicle to home.
Yeah, but that
Right.
takes quite an investment in your home too.
Right.
You want to do the
As you
whole
said.
thing. I can
Yeah.
do about a third of my home, four 15 amp breakers. And I had that. So,
Does anybody else have any questions at all about EVs or
Yeah, back to my Ionic, it just drives beautifully. And I just char I can only charge it on level one, but I have full access to that level one. And I just charged it. I think it took me after I went to San Jose and back, it needed 42 hours on level one at 1 kilowatt. So I don't use my car every day, so that's just fine.
So that's at home. So what he's referring to is that he just plugs his EV into a standard outlet, which is a great way for most people to just to charge their EVs. It's called trickle charge, but you can get 40 to 50 miles of charge overnight or in 8 hours if you work from home. And most people in the Bay Area drive less than 25 miles a day. So if that's the case for you, you don't even need to get an EV charging station. You can just plug right into a standard outlet. Another solution is if you plan to park your car in a garage that's next to a dryer, your washer and dryer, you can get a smart splitter, which is a safety device for your 240-watt appliance and an EV so that you don't blow your circuit. So that's another option that's very affordable. And yeah, if some people, if they drive more than 50 miles a day or so, we recommend that you get install a charging station, which really just means that you wire a 240 volt
Mhm.
outlet, sorry,
There
close
you
to
go.
where you're going to park your car.
Yeah, I've got a good friend here who's got a plug-in Grand Cherokee, the 4xe, and he was going to do 240 volts to his garage. I said, why don't you just try the level one? And that's all he needs.
Yeah, that's what we recommend. Just use the standard outlet to get started. And
When
if
you're
you,
driving, it's all.
yeah, yeah, and if you feel like you need more charge, then you can get a upgrade to a level two charging station. So Marisa, it sort of depends on how much you drive. If you drive less than 50 miles a day, level one should work out just fine for you. Um, for the first 2 years that I drove EVs, I had level one and it was fine. Once in a while, I would have to go to a supercharging station to kind of top off a little bit if I needed a little more. That would be a rare occasion, like if I drove to visit my parents down on the peninsula and then came back, and then my husband needed the car the next morning to go somewhere. But that's kind of a rare circumstance. Yeah. So Marisa, if you're in that situation, if you drive 55 to 65 miles a day, I recommend getting a level two charging station. Yeah. That'll probably work best for you. You'll feel confident. And then once yeah, you can program your car to only charge during the off-peak hours. When you drive an EV, you can also be on an EV time of use rate. So prices between midnight to 3 p.m. for most people are very affordable, about half the price of what it is to charge between 4 and 9 p.m. So you'll want to make sure you switch to the right time of use plan and then program your car. It's pretty easy to program your car to do that. Also, when you get an EV, most people recommend that you charge on a daily basis to no more than 80%. Uh, it just to kind of protect the battery. Lithium ion batteries are happiest when they're between 20 to 80%. So keeping it between that most of the time is what they recommend. If you're about to go on a road trip the day before or the night before, you can charge it to 100% so that you can use the full range of your battery. But just on a day-to-day basis, just they recommend just 80%. And I cover this stuff more in my EV 102 webinars. Even when I go on a road trip, I typically only charge to 80% because it's very fast to go to 80%. When your battery is really low charge, it's very, very fast. And then as it fills up, the battery itself is programmed to just slow down and take a slower charge just to protect the battery. So the last 80 to 100%, it for me feels like molasses. I would rather stop an extra time if I need to and stretch my legs a little bit and get something to drink rather than wait an extra 20 minutes for it to get to 100%. But um, if I do, if I'm stopping for a meal in a restaurant, I will let it go to 100% if I've planned it in that sort of a way. Yeah. Marisa, do you have any other
Yeah,
question?
I'll just jump off since it seems like we're at that point. Yeah, the things I'm nervous about, I drive a Toyota Prius right now, so it's very reasonable to fill up. So I just wonder how much of a savings it will be. Um,
If you're able to charge at home, and
yeah.
if you get on the time of use rate, what do you know what like county you live in, or I know you do.
We're in Pacifica, so
Okay.
it's PG&E,
PG&E and PCE, Peninsula Clean Energy.
probably.
Yeah, so you may not know. So most people get their electricity from a CCA. It's an alternative to PG&E. You still get your bill from PG&E. They
Okay.
provide your gas, and they actually um, send the electricity to your home. They own the wires, but
Okay.
most people are getting their electricity in the Bay Area from the CCA. So for you, it would be Peninsula Clean Energy. Anybody in San Mateo County.
And then do most of the electric cars, there's public chargers at my work that you have to pay for. I
Yeah.
do, can I assume all cars can hook up to those?
Yes, yeah. And if not, you can get a little adapter that does, depending upon which car you have. So with my Tesla, for example, if I go to a charge point, I have this little adapter. It came with the car actually, that I just plug in so I can use the other charge port. But everybody is migrating now to the Tesla port. So because it's now like the North American charging standard. But yeah, I want to go back to the rates though. So
Uh-huh.
typically you can, it'll cost about 30 if you get your electricity from, yeah, PG&E or PCE, and you're charging if you're on an EV rate plan and charging during the off-peak times, which is typically between midnight and 3 p.m. So
Mhm.
most of the time it's very affordable. It's about 30 cents a kilowatt hour. So it could be somewhere, 3 to 4 times less expensive than gas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're on a road trip, though, it's especially if you're using a fast charger, you'll pay a little bit more. It's still cheaper than gas, but hope that's not the majority of your charging, I would think. Yeah.
And then did you test out a lot of different EVs just to feel different ones?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, when I first got an EV, I tried the Chevy Bolt, the Nissan Leaf, the Hyundais and the Kias and the Volkswagens and the Volvos. I've tried a
Okay.
lot of them. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So, each car is a little different. So it's good to kind of sit in there and I think test driving is great. First of all, driving an EV is easier than driving a gas car. Yeah, it's easy. It's really fun to drive an EV. It's fast. It's very, responsive. They have this thing called regenerative braking. So when you're not actually accelerating, you're actually charging your battery. So, and what's nice about that also, it feels safe because the second I take my foot off the gas pedal, it starts slowing down immediately. And you can set your EV to different levels of that. I mean, I have to say, sometimes if you set it to extreme regenerative braking, it could feel a little like, you know, like you're jolted a little bit, but you can sort of work your way up to that also and just whatever feels more comfortable for you.
A silly question. I assume the electrics still have cruise control?
Yes, adaptive
Okay.
cruise control. That's what I love to do. And
Yeah.
not only that, but yeah, so they keep you in your lane and
Yeah.
they do the adaptive. So it's so nice. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
That's very exciting. You've been super helpful. I feel like I need to go to the dealers and test cars out and then have to deal with the whole pricing thing. My younger son is going to be 16, so this is one mode that he would get my Prius and then I would lease a vehicle.
That's
Um,
great. I think a
yeah.
lot of people do this. That's what I did myself when my daughter was 16. She got
Okay.
my Subaru Outback,
Okay.
and then I got an EV. But
Yeah.
what's funny about that is that eventually the Subaru was a lease, and she loved the Subaru Outback. Like she was just
Uh-huh.
loved it. And then I got actually a Volkswagen e-Golf, which was a lower range
Uh-huh.
EV. It only had 85 miles.
Yeah.
And she was so bummed about this. And then after a week, she was like, Mom, I actually like this car better than the Subaru. It's so
Oh,
fun
wow.
to drive.
Wow. Yeah, we thought about getting my son like a used EV, like the Leaf or the Golf,
Yeah,
partially because they only go 100 miles.
exactly.
So,
They won't go to Mexico easily.
yeah. But then I'm a little worried about a used one of that age. Just like you were saying, I feel like with the EVs, it might be better to get the newest technology and lease it, but
Yeah,
we're gonna
I
invest.
agree. And then as your kids get older, like mine are now in their 20s, in their early 20s, and we ended up getting the Polestar as a second car for our home because they now want to go farther. You know,
Yeah.
in the beginning it was fine. They could drive locally and it was enough for them, but now it's and then they're like calling me. They're like, I'm at the charging station. What am I supposed to do? So I think what the way you're thinking through things, I think that's great. And
Have
then,
you ever had a charging, like a problem where you're in the car and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Sorry, my dogs are going crazy. They're very excited as well. But have you ever had a problem with the electric while you're out driving?
I've
That
never
they,
had that because I mean you'll get warning lights that come up that say, like it's, you have 20% left of your EV charge.
okay,
It's a good time to find a charging station. And then they'll help the navigation systems have become much more advanced. And then they're like, we'll help you find a charging station nearby.
okay.
But yeah, normally you sort of think about this a little bit, yeah, in advance. I have in a gas car though, when I was 16. I ran out of gas. AAA had to come and rescue me.
Can AAA rescue an electric car?
Yes, and they actually have batteries with them now. And
Okay,
so, I mean, you're not going to get a full charge, but they'll give you like 15, 20 miles so you can find a charging station.
okay, okay. That's good to know. I
Yeah.
recently, or I guess about a year ago, I got a little self charger for my
Oh,
car.
good.
Do those work on electric cars also? Probably not.
I do not know, but Mark might know because Mark is an engineer and he knows a lot about these more technical things.
No, the answer is no. You're talking about one of those boxes that'll jumpstart a
Yeah.
gasoline thing. Yeah, they incompatible totally. So
Okay. Okay.
it's very dirty electricity because the starting cranking motor doesn't care. But
Okay.
you're into the sophistication of an EV motor. Those are
Okay.
three-phase, invented by Nikola Tesla himself. That's why they got that name. But no, that can't jumpstart you.
Okay. So you'd
No,
have to call AAA or
yeah,
something.
AAA is getting pretty savvy about that. And just, when you're on a 250-mile trip to say you got within a mile or two of it doesn't sit real well with all your family members. So you just got to pay a little attention. And by the way, you on these nav systems, you can put in where you're going and it'll tell you which charger to go to. The Tesla is excellent. I know there's a Hyundai version of that. And also there's a thing called preconditioning where it'll warm the battery up to about 70 degrees. And that you need to do that for fastest charging.
Okay.
But it's kind of a new world. It's the basis is still an automobile, but you got to jump in sometime and you'll learn a whole lot. Hopefully not that you run out of electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll tell you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, my dogs have been participating.
I don't hear them at all, actually.
Oh, really?
No,
Okay.
I'm like trying to look. I'm like, what's that behind
I,
you there?
I think they're both barking at the wind.
Oh no.
We're right on the water, so we
Oh,
hear the
nice. Nice.
I do that a lot myself.
wind.
Okay. Any other questions? And as I said, feel free to come back to another webinar if you'd like, that December 18th webinar. But yeah, go test drive and see which one you feel comfortable in. And when you go, again, just to reiterate, if you go through these discounts that we have now, Cartelligent will waive their service fee and offer these exclusive prices that you won't get otherwise. So it's a really great experience. Most people, who go through Cartelligent are like, I'll never get a car another way again. So yeah. Thanks again. But we're here to reduce emissions, so however you want to get an EV is okay with us.